bonjour. I hope you're all doing amazingly. So I'm just gonna chat about feeling lonely and how normal it is and how to deal with it, my experiences with it, etc, etc, etc. I'm just editing and I've realised I haven't explained why I'm making this video. Loneliness is something that is very close to my heart. I've experienced it quite a bit, and it's also a topic of conversation that comes up all the time with my friends, and I feel like it's a bit of a taboo subject. Like, I don't think people talk about it enough, because I think it's perfectly normal to feel lonely, and yet we're embarrassed about talking about it. So yeah, that's why I'm making the video, and I hope that it can be helpful. Okay, so I'm going to start with my own relationship with loneliness. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I, growing up, moved around a lot. Like, I've literally always been jumping schools. I think from year 1 to year 13, I went to 8 different schools, which averages out to around 1.5-ish years in each school. The longest I've ever been in a school is 3 years, and that was like in my latter years. So that was like year 11 to year 12, 13. So let's just say I had to get used to being alone, spending time on my own, and not feeling like I belong quite a lot. And I had to learn that very young, which is quite perturbing. Like, I feel like jumping around in your formative years can be quite unsettling. Looking back on it now, like, I'm not mad about it. I don't think about it in a sad way, because I feel like now it's had such a massive impact on my personality that growing up experience has really made me. Like, I find it quite easy to meet new people now, and I really enjoy and thrive on meeting new people, and all that I think comes from practice. Like, I've literally been practicing being alone and lonely since I was very little. I still get nerves, like I get nervous meeting people, but I kind of just interpret that now as excitement, and I really do crave jumping countries. I crave jumping around, meeting people. Like, I just think it has made me. Another experience that really like knocked me in terms of loneliness was moving to Paris. I moved here when I was 18, straight out of school. I'm now 20. But when I moved to Paris, I didn't know anyone here. It was in the middle of COVID. Like, we literally went into a winter lockdown a couple of weeks after I came. Like, 6 p.m. curfew, restaurants were closed, bars were closed, cafes were closed, everything was closed.
J'ai décidé qu'il fallait retrouver, à partir de vendredi, le confinement qui a stoppé le virus.
And I think that it was a really tough year. Like, my first year in Paris was very tough, and there were times where I would honestly just like cuddle up in bed and cry. And I know that I'm not the only one who's been through that, and so this is why I think it's so important to talk about. I literally remember at the end of first year, I've literally got written this in my diary. I had a breakdown, and I was just writing down all the things which were really upsetting me. I was really nervous to go back to Paris for second year because of COVID. I hadn't really like made like a strong knit friendship group, and I've literally written things like, oh, it's not sad to look back on, but like I remember like having this breakdown. I wrote things like, I feel embarrassed and ashamed of feeling lonely. I have no friendship group in Paris. I'm scared to go back because it's tough, and it is, like, moving countries is tough. I am lonely. I don't want to grow up. Oh. But yeah, a lot of it is just, I felt very lonely and scared and nervous to get pushed back into a place where I don't feel like I have 100% comfortable friends. And I think maybe looking back on it now, that I do feel like I'm settled here and I've made such amazing friendships, I kind of come back on it and think, why? Like, it's not, you shouldn't feel embarrassed for feeling lonely. You shouldn't feel like it's your fault. You shouldn't be hard on yourself. And it's just realizing that everybody goes through these emotions, so you shouldn't feel embarrassed or ashamed about it. I think with social media as well, you feel like everybody's constantly having fun, everybody's constantly feeling 100% secure in themselves, and like, it's just not the case. This is why I really want to just sort of put out a video and be like, everybody feels lonely at some point in their life. I know that I am going to have moments where I do feel lonely. I still have moments where I feel very lonely, and I think that it's important to talk about them and those emotions as well, because hearing other people's stories as well has sort of made me realise that I'm perfectly normal for feeling that way as well. Anyway, enough rambling. I'm going to go into things that I do to feel less lonely, or just how to combat it, and just thoughts I have now when that wave of loneliness does hit me, like how I get through it. This kind of links into how I live alone and things I do living alone. How to deal with feeling lonely. The first thing I've written is remember that it will pass. Loneliness will pass. It comes in waves. It's definitely like a bit of a roller coaster thing. And just remember that you are not alone. Even if you feel alone in like this present set time, there's so many people out there to meet. When I think of like, it's so exciting for me to think of all the people that I am yet to meet. And I'm so grateful for the people that I have met. And so loneliness is just a passage, and it's something that you will get through and that you'll learn a lot about yourself from. Oh, I'm really happy I'm making this video. It's literally, this just touches my heart. Like, this is so close to me. It's a very strong emotion because I think as humans, we crave connection and human connection so much. And especially in our society today where we live away from our families, away from like small, tight-knit communities, we honestly lack human connection so much. I think it's something that we have to deal with a lot more probably now than we did in the past. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is in no particular order. I'm just going to list off things that I feel like have helped me. The first thing is going out every single day. Go outside every single day, even if it's just for a walk. I think that getting fresh air and spending time outside of your head and your own space is so important. For studying as well, if you're going to study, try and find a study space where you can do that in, so you're not spending, oh, there's a pigeon, he literally just landed right next there, sorry. So you're not spending 24/7 in one space. That will make you go crazy. It would make anyone go crazy, so get outside. Finding your little comforts. I can like list a few of mine. What brings me comfort is a hot water bottle. Like, just, I don't know, like walking, I will literally like walk around my apartment holding my hot water bottle like it's a child, and just, I think that honestly comforts me so much, along with teddy bears, for example. I'm literally not even embarrassed to talk about this. My mum knitted me this because to keep me company in Paris, and like I literally will just sit there craving it. Also, acts of service. I love making cups of tea, and so, or like cooking, and that's something that I will do to like show my love for other people, like doing little acts of service for them. So instead of doing it for someone, do it for yourself. Pamper yourself, treat yourself, make sure that you cater for your needs and like your love needs, if that makes sense. I'm a touchy person, I need to touch things, so like hot water bottle is perfect for me. I love acts of service, so like I'll do those acts of service for me, if that makes sense. If you're more of a like, if you're someone who needs a lot of reassurance and spoken words, maybe like write things down, I don't know, just find your little comforts and make sure you look after yourself. Limit your time on social media as much as possible, because I mean, like, social media has to be done in small doses, otherwise you're just gonna sort of overthink and get into your own head and compare yourself, and that's just never a nice road to go down. Instead of social media, try and find other creative outlets. Reading, writing, drawing, I don't know, just limit social media for sure. Listen to music and podcasts. I honestly 90% of the time have music in the background. I listen to so much too much music. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I might list down some podcasts that I listen to, some of my favorite ones. I like having background noise. I'll put on a YouTube video, just listen to music, dance, have someone talking to you. It's just nice to have that background noise. Make sure you take time out of your day to FaceTime family and friends from back home. And if you really feel like you don't have anyone to FaceTime, then I would say try and reconnect with old friends as well. There's nothing embarrassing about reaching out. In fact, I'm always very happy when someone reaches out to me. So reach out to people that you haven't connected for a while. It's really, really rewarding. Try and push yourself to go out and meet new people. I think when you live alone or when you're feeling lonely, it's very easy to sort of like build up a shell and like retreat and like recline, I don't know the word, but really sort of like you kind of close in on yourself. Try not to do that. Try and keep meeting new people when you can. And there's plenty of ways to do that. During COVID, I would go on like Erasmus meetups. I'm not even an Erasmus student. I would go on like Facebook meetups. What did I do? There's volunteering, even striking up a conversation with the person next to you at a cafe, shops, downloading Tinder. I done that. It can honestly be very fun and very freeing being in the big city and just going on loads of dates. Seek discomfort, like seek meeting new people, because that is something that will bring you out of your shell as well. Like there's lots of ways to meet people and everybody is longing to meet people, so you will eventually form your own community. Journaling has helped me so much, so much. And spend the time that you are alone or feeling lonely to really work on yourself. Like when I say work on yourself, learn about yourself as well. Like do lots of journaling activities, think big, think about your future, like what you're thinking, where you see yourself, and really start manifesting and spend time writing down your feelings. As soon as you feel upset about something, write it down, try and like dig. That's at least is something that's really helped me sort of deal with my emotions, is really sitting down and writing it all out, and dreaming big and focusing on yourself, like cherishing the time that you have with yourself, because you're not always going to be able to have time completely alone where you're just thinking about where you are now. And then with whatever you write down, whether those are dreams or like aspirations, like start working on them now. Like you've got the time and you will eventually move past these feelings of loneliness, so just start working on them now and be creative, visualize, just cherish the time you have with yourself. And that leads me on to my next point, which is go on solo dates. Go to museums, go to art galleries, go to cafes, spend time with yourself and like cherish that time that you have with yourself, because the more you do it, the more you will be comfortable being on your own and with yourself. And I think that's such an important thing to come to terms with. It's such an important skill thing to have, is being able to be alone and comfortable in your own company. And then finally, just stick it out. Like I literally remember last year I called my brother and I was like, I honestly don't think I can stay in Paris another year. It was like at the first time I was like, I think I'm gonna have to just go to an English uni next year. And he was like, you know what, just stick it out for a bit longer. And I did stick it out for a bit longer, and I'm so happy that I did, because I've now found my people. I really am. I love my friends so much. And I'm so blessed to have had them. Like I don't know, I almost like cherish them even more, just because I know that I've come from a place where I didn't feel like I fit in, and now I do. I just do appreciate them more. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about loneliness, is like, because it comes in waves, like when you do feel like that massive connection, like you're so grateful for it and for people. If you are feeling lonely, stick it out. Know that it will pass. Know that it's just a wave. Be kind to yourself. Love the time that you spend with yourself. Know that it's okay to not feel like you fit in. Fitting in is overrated. It's not really. I don't think anybody 100% fits in, because we're all so individual and different, and that's a beautiful thing. So honestly, don't worry about it. Like it's just an illusion. Know that it's all a process. Like feeling lonely is just a part of discovering who you are and learning about how to be with yourself. There's so much out there, there's so many people to meet, there's so many beautiful human beings on this planet, that you are not alone and you are one of those beautiful people, and it will be okay. I don't know if that's really making any sense, but I just think that it's something that I really want to talk about, because it is something, it's just an emotion that I've dealt with quite a lot. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I'm sending all my love, once again, all my love, and lots of kisses. I hope that you have a lovely week.